here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come.
So the meme is true. Riot created another champion once again with 17 dashes and a whole lot of shields with a crazy amount of damage. But all in all, Sylas' playstyle, it's very unique and interesting, mainly because you're playing 6 champions in one, if that makes sense.
No more cages.
No more cages.
Release me, I'm moving on.
So, some of the strengths you're gonna find with Sylas is the diverse playstyle he's able to create for himself by stealing a bunch of abilities from the enemy. For example, I was lacking tankiness one game, so I stole an Alistar ultimate and boom, I was good to go. When it comes to weaknesses, you are a melee champion that doesn't build the most tankiest of items, therefore, you gotta kind of pick your battles and choose your fights. So we'll start off with the passive. Basically, after you use an ability, you get an empowered auto with an AoE effect around it. You're gonna wanna weave your passive in between your other abilities so you can maximize the damage of this passive. Your Q looks like this. Picture half Lulu, half Galio. The Lulu is obviously the picks part that goes out like this. And then the Galio part is when these connect, it's gonna have a little AoE explosive at the end of it. You push waves with it, manage your waves with it, you harass with it. It's stability max and look to use the most. The W, it's a short range lunge auto attack, but it also works as an execute. So if they're low on HP, it'll do more. And if you're low on HP, it'll heal you for a ridiculous amount if you hit an enemy champion with it. You want to keep in mind using this ability to maximize those two things. When they're low, use it at the end of your combo. And when you're low, you start busting this ability out. E, it's 2 abilities in one. It's a dash with the shield. And then my favorite, the lunge chain rundown. Grapple onto them and bop them. The way you're going to want to use this ability is pretty versatile because, like I said, it has 2 parts to the ability. One, a nice little shield to juke an ability, and then a nice gap closer along with it, or something you could even use to juke abilities even more, or just to get out in general. So, your ultimate, you actually technically don't even have one, and it's completely useless.
Haha, nothing.
If you're not versus any enemies, but if you are, you steal them just like this. I am now Kog'Maw. Eat that, bro. I only get 1. Are you kidding me? As you can see, some ults are going to be way better than the other, and it kind of just differs from game to game. This ultimate has very good range, and it's a targeted ability, so it's very easy to grab who you want to grab. The only downside is you can't spam grab one ultimate over and over and over. They're going to force you to mix it up because there's a long cooldown on each champion you want to take it from. So you can't actually just spam one ulti over and over, but be smart about it and figure out what your team needs from you. Playstyle is going to change dramatically on who you're matched up against. Let's say they have an enemy Kale. I'm down to go for a tower dive that's super aggressive that requires me to have an invulnerable shield for 2 seconds. Or on the other hand, your AD carry is beyond fed, snag that ulti, peel for him, and you basically have 2 supports. Meanwhile, you're still doing mad amount of damage. So in laning phase, something you're going to want to look to do the most is to utilize your W to the fullest. So when they're below 40 HP, and even when you're below 40 HP, you want to take trades up until you guys get to the 40% zone, and then look for that perfect time to get that engage all in so you can utilize it to the fullest. Sylas will excel very hard in fights that look very risky to take, but that's quite honestly how you want to play them. Simple combos you're going to want to do in laning phase are harass as best you can with your Q, get the best possible trades with your passive, and last but not least, when you E someone, instantly get your Q down so you can get the second proc on it as well. Don't be afraid to roam the map and get kills elsewhere. This is a champion that where if you get a lead, you're going to want to spread that lead because of how good he is around the map and around skirmishes and small fights. And keep in mind when you're stealing ultimates, know what your plan is ahead of the time so you can demolish your enemy. And a quick rundown on ganks. When you're following up on a gank, if you can, use the second part of your E when they're stunned and they can't flash away from it. Don't always use it just for the gap closer. Make sure you're utilizing the first part of the dash as well to juke abilities, get a better angle. When you're running from a gank, keep in mind you can E to creeps over the wall, away from you, or the first E dash in general to dodge important abilities. And that all being said, you can turn a fight completely with your W, because when you get low, you're going to heal so much once you use it on an enemy champion. So a simple thing you guys want to keep in mind while you're jungling is to just weave in your passive while you're clearing waves whenever you can to be the most efficient clear as possible. When it comes to ganking someone, don't always E straight on them right away. That's not always the correct move. Often you're going to have good ultimates to help you. Let's say they have a Sejuani, maybe you want to open with that. Or if they're this far up in lane, try Wing and then Eing after them as they run away. Use it more so of a reaction ability to where you juke with the first part and then you can counter engage with the second part. But if they are so far away that you do need a gap close with E, that's totally fine too. So when it comes to team fights or contesting objectives, keep in mind how you can best utilize the ultimates you can steal to fit what you need. For example, they're coming in for a smite steal. They have an enemy Gragas. Steal that ulti and knock that jungler out of the park so it's no longer 50-50. You guys secure the objective. Or they have an insane fed 80 carry, but they also have a Zed on their team. Steal his ultimate and take him out of the game completely. So something you're constantly going to need to ask yourself is, whose ultimate do I steal to best utilize what we need for the time being in the game? Keep in mind, you're literally playing 6 champions in one. I probably sound like nails on a chalkboard at this point, but at the end of the day, he's honestly not the most complex champion in the game when it comes to combos and whatnot. What you're going to need to do on Sylas is utilize the enemy ults as best you can to fit what your team needs to help you win. If you guys enjoyed this guide or found it useful, I have literally dozens of other guides from other champions, or let alone just how to rank up in general, at ProGuides.com. Go check them out.